Hi there, welcome to lesson 8, and this one is going to be blocking out our cross section. Now I'm going to stick to this run, but remember what we covered previous, where you create a block of the floor plan and then you rotate it. But since we've got the overall structure of the elevation for this one, what we then want to do is very simply copy it down, and we retain a lot of good stuff. We'll redo the dimensions. We retain a lot of good stuff, the trees and so on, but we do want to strip it back like so. We just want the bones of it for now. I might even just so it's not getting in the way of the drawing, I might just get rid of some of the blocks. We can actually get rid of all that. That is in the background, that though, isn't it? And we'll get rid of that one for now. Okay. But what's great is we've got the framework. It's got a bit of line work at the bottom there. We've got the framework of our section, like so. So I would encourage you to work up all the other elevations, and then at least then you've got the bones of a section. Now, the problem with sections is sometimes it's hard to picture what the thing is going to look like in section. There's more to it than just the striking of lines down. Now, just to demonstrate something, we can, of course, strike the lines down, and what we want to do is include the wall thicknesses, like so, okay? Let's say typically the internal slab should be raised from the external floor, but we haven't drawn that. That's a technical thing. That's for another lesson. So we'll just keep the ground flush, but the head or the roof soffit, what have you, is 500 mil. So we want to, oh, that's my dash line. Is that on a layer line work 2? Can I just turn that off? There we go. Oh no, never mind. I was thinking of offsetting that, but it'll cause more issues. I think that's 500 there. So we'll strike that line across, okay? And then essentially we've got then our section here. So if we just use the trim tools. Sorry, let's select elements to trim 2, right? So that's that one. Okay, done. Pick the paths to trim. Now, I must admit, I had just forgotten the functionality. It's slightly different from CAD programs, the functionality of that, or the one I use anyway. So I just need to remind myself, and it's just brilliant that you've just got the thing at the bottom just talking you through it. And you can hit enter instead of clicking done. You can hit enter, and then let's select all these. There we go. Lovely. So that is then the section of that, because we've... so my apologies, sorry, I rushed a little bit into that one. I explained the striking of the line down. However, we need to draw in our actual section cut. So you need to decide on a cut. Now, the line that you then cut through, that's the thing that then gives you the information to strike your lines down from. So we've actually only got couple of external walls there, glazing there, and actually that steps down. So we could show a little step in our ground plane. So we actually don't need that one. An important thing to note on sections as well is the direction that they're looking at. Now I think in the block library there are annotations. Let me just see if I can type in section. That might be too vague. There we go. So you can see a section line there, elevation marker. Where's that gone? Oh, I think it's being scaled because it's meant for a sheet. Let's just do something massive so we can see it. There we go. So what we can do here is actually just unblock that. I'm not too bothered about the smart functionality at the minute. But we could use something like that to distinguish that the section is looking in a certain direction, like so. But if I can be dead honest, call me old fashioned, but I just like a nice chunky line. Apologies if you heard that beep. I'm on an industrial estate. So I prefer that, and then really I actually then do these shorter lines so that the whole section line isn't just, you know, dominating the drawing. For me, that is just so much slicker. But you have got options, is my point, in the block library. If we then type in A, right, this is the thing that distinguishes. Let me just change that to like 500. Oh, sorry. Oh, there it is there. Let's do 1,000 then. Right. You hover an A over your first section indicator and another one over there. And the idea is that you would then label the drawing section AA. We'll get to this in the sheet lesson, but just for argument's sake, you would then say section AA. And the reason you say A twice is because the section is full spanning, like so, and it's got a start and an end, essentially. You can just do a section through a certain area, and that is called a strip section, and that would then just be called section A. But a full section is section AA, like so. So apologies, I rushed into trying to draw something there. So that is so important. Do you distinguish your cut throughs? We could even change that to an orange, which is quite nice. What's the hex code of? Oh, there we go. Copy that. Oh, sorry. Oh, I need to select. I don't know why the font keeps dropping off on that. There we go, there's our hex code. Grab them two. Nice. Okay. So that's what then distinguishes how we strike lines down. But, I know this is a Rayon lesson, but let me export this as DWG. Because if you remember at the start of the lesson, I was just starting to explain that it can be hard to visualize a section. And I actually like to use SketchUp to import my lineway. Check this out. Now this is, even though I'm in SketchUp, this is a great functionality of Rayon, is that we can export to CAD and we can create our visuals in a program such as the wonderful SketchUp. So I want to get rid of all this, right? And all I want to do is pop. So if I just group that, oh, I've lost some walls there, but it's okay. I want to pop this on top of here, like so. We said 3 meters, didn't we? Okay. Hide that. And all we want to do is establish the overall, whoa, what's happened there? Oh, it's brought in all the layers as well. Look at that. Absolutely superb. So we want to get rid of those guides. That's what it was clashing with those guides. Delete entities. Right. So all we want to do here is establish what the section looks like with very simple blocks. So I'm just offsetting that. If you want to learn more about SketchUp, by the way, we teach that at ArchAdemia.com. We've also got these steps here. That's important. And we've also got the glazing there. Okay. Right. If we then just hide the rest of the model, we can then extrude that 3 meters. Same with that. And then we've got the 500 mil bulkhead at the top. Like so. And let's say this steps down, let's say 120. Let's do 150. There are regulations for that. Check your local regs. Right. So we'll do 150, 150, 150, like so. We want to put our roof on that one, 500. And there is also an overhang here of 500. Okay. If we then unhide this thing here, we can then see that that is largely in elevation, but we are cutting through this balcony area. So let's just push that up to 3 meters. Okay. bring that over as well, just so we can see. And this is very rough, by the way. You'll see the purpose in a minute. Don't panic. That then wants to be 1100. That's like the typical height of a balustrade. Let's make it like 50 mil thick. Let's add a little bit of glazing in here. Again, just 50 mil. Push that in, maybe 100 mil, and then copy that down here. Is there anything else in this floor plan? No, we'll be able to pick that up on the drawing. So we've done a very, very rough massing exercise there, okay, with some wall thicknesses. And by the way, while I'm here, I would always encourage you to use a program like SketchUp or Rhino, something like that, to establish your shadows as well. You can set it to a parallel projection, and there isn't a lot going on, but we'll see there. So when you turn the shadows on, it just takes the thinking out of keeping that consistent as well. But if we then go to a section slicer, where are we? There we go. We can then match the position of this section. Let's do something like that to where we've got it drawn. So we've actually used the 3D model to realize that that top floor would be in elevation. Now you can step sections. So we could move that up like so, and then you would draw a stepped line in between. But I think we're getting a bit fussy there. So we'll just keep to the principle that what's in the elevation will stay in elevation like so. So let's then copy that down, and we can use the level as a bit of a guide. Now, when it comes to sections, I actually use less color and shadow. I feel like sections are a little more technical. Probably will keep the little reflection streaks on actually. Okay, so I've removed the rendering element, if you like, from that elevational component. It might be nice to select this line work as well and just bring that down. It's quite a busy drawing now, so it's just getting a bit fussy. We could obviously turn layers on and off, but I'm being a bit lazy. Right, so grab that and then bring that down. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Right. So what we've got now is a visual. That's the key thing. It's a visual representation of what we're aiming for. It's quite a simple section. So you've got that solid roof line going across. Then we've got those two elements of glazing there, and then we've got that step down. And we've gone for 150 each. So let's actually start with that. So let me strike that down and copy them across. Okay. And then we'll drag that baseline. And what's that elevation baseline? let's just draw it in. So 150. If we then select these two lines and do pick style, I quite like that it then matches those two. And then we copy like so. And then there'd be one more, would there? So you've got 1, 2, and then 3. I might have gone 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's right. And then we drag that last one out to match that. Get rid of that. And then we can edit this rectangle, drag that down, and then we can add points. So 1, 2, 3, I think it's a 4th. And then you want to connect it then to these joins, look at that. Or junctions, whatever. Oh, one more. And done. Look at that. Then we drag, edit path. Drag that down. That line, or that rectangle, let's strike a line straight across like so. And then strike 2 lines down. Like that. Select that element, trim to there. Trim that and that. And then let's select those two, and then there we are. We need to obviously add in the glazed area and stuff like that. But for this first lesson, I just wanted to kind of establish how to set the section up and how to use a 3D modeling program to just help you visualize it. We've got quite a simple project, but something that was a bit more complex. This principle works wonders. It just helps you visualize certain things. In this instance, it's been great to visualize that step down. For example, we could go a step further and actually model maybe the staircase and then take a section through that. It helps you visualize it. Or you could even export. You could model something. If you're really struggling to draw it, you could model something in like a SketchUp, export that to DWG, and then bring that in to Rayon as well. And then just something else to note when it comes to sections is we want to create a fill like this as well. And the easiest way really to do it is just by creating a polyline like so, and then just giving it a fill like that. That's probably a touch dark, but you get the idea. So as we've done with the previous, it's about session 1 of the sections here is setting the thing up, setting the principles up. And then in the next lesson, we'll then work it up, we'll render it, we'll put some nice furniture in the backdrop. And I think we will just put some shadows in as well. So I hope that's been useful, setting up your cross sections. And you can see the way we've arrived at this quite quickly. And dare I say that we probably should do that stepped ground plane there, but we'll leave it as is for this session. We can see the way we've used the elevation we've brought it down and we've turned it into a section. That's a very efficient way of drawing as well. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you in the next one.